in the rugged heart of Dartmoor, near the ancient village of Drewsteignton, where granite tors loom like sentinels and the River Tun carves secrets through the earth. There lies a lonely spot known to locals as Bloody Corner. Here, nestled among gnarled oaks and wind-bent hawthorns, stands a small cottage, its cob walls weathered to a sickly grey, its thatched roof sagging like a mourner's shoulders. Tradition whispers of a murder committed within its walls long ago, a foul deed that stains the earth anew each year. On the anniversary of that dark day, at the stroke of midnight, a thin trickle of blood is said to flow from beneath the cottage door, seeping onto the road below, a spectral reminder of a crime that time cannot wash away. The tale begins in the late 17th century, during the reign of Charles II, when Drewsteignton was a scattering of farms and cottages bound by the moor's harsh embrace. In 1678, the cottage at Bloody Corner, then freshly built, was home to Agnes Harrowell, a widow of 35 winters, and her brother, Elias, a man of shadowed temper and sharper debts. Agnes, a healer known for her herb lore, eked out a living selling salves and tending to the village sick, her hands stained green from the plants of Dartmoor's wilds. Elias, a tanner by trade but a wastrel by habit, had returned to Drewsteignton after squandering his share of their inheritance in Exeter's gambling dens. He lived off his sister's meagre earnings, his temper a storm that brewed stronger with every unpaid debt. On a frostbitten night in December 1678, as the wind howled like a banshee across the moor, Elias returned home drunk, his pockets empty and his creditors' threats ringing in his ears. Agnes, stirring a pot of nettle broth over the hearth, pleaded with him to mend his ways, her voice soft but firm, her patience worn thin by years of his recklessness. Elias, his mind clouded by ale and rage, saw her words as mockery, her thrift as theft. In a fit of fury, he seized the iron poker from the fire and struck her down, her skull cracking against the flagstones like a walnut under a hammer. Her blood pooled beneath her, seeping into the earth beneath the floor, and Elias stood frozen, the poker slipping from his trembling hands as the reality of his deed dawned. Panic gripped him. He dragged Agnes's body to the corner where the shadows were deepest, and with a shovel he pried up the floor stones, digging a shallow grave in the packed earth beneath. He buried her there, her blood still wet on his hands, and replaced the stones, scrubbing the floor until the stains faded to mere whispers. Elias fled Drewsteignton before dawn, spinning tales of his sister's sudden departure to visit kin in Cornwall. But the villagers knew better. Her absence was a wound, her silence a scream. Suspicion fell on Elias, but no proof pinned him down. He vanished into the mists of Dartmoor, his fate swallowed by the wilds. Though some whispered he met a grim end at the hands of bandits or beasts, the cottage stood empty for years, its door warped and its windows dark, until a new family claimed it in 1685, drawn by the promise of cheap tenancy. But on the first December night of their stay, as the clock struck midnight, a thin trickle of blood seeped from beneath the door, staining the dirt road outside, a crimson thread that glistened under the moon before sinking into the earth by dawn. The family fled, their screams echoing through Drewsteignton, and the cottage earned its name Bloody Corner for the spot where the blood appeared each year. On the anniversary of Agnes' murder, a spectral reminder of the foul deed that had soaked its foundations. By the 1700s, the tale had woven itself into Dartmoor's lore, and the cottage became a place of dread, its door bolted tight, save for the curious or the desperate who dared to lease it. In 1742, a tinker named Thomas Yeo, skeptical of ghost stories and eager for shelter, spent a night there on December 10th, the murder's anniversary. At midnight, he awoke to a faint dripping, like rain through a cracked roof, and saw the blood trickle from beneath the door, its scent sharp and metallic as it flowed toward the road. Thomas, his bravado shattered, fled into the night, swearing he'd heard a woman's sigh sound like nettles brushing stone before the trickle ceased at dawn. In 1823, a spinster named Clara Drayton, drawn by whispers of bloody corner, watched from the road as the blood appeared once more, her candle trembling as it illuminated the crimson stream that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. The 20th century brought new tenants to the cottage. Though none stayed long, each December brought the same unearthly seepage, its rhythm as steady as a heartbeat. In 1955, a local historian named Samuel Powell, armed with a camera and a notebook, spent the night of December 10th within the cottage walls, hoping to document the phenomenon. At midnight, the trickle began, its flow slow but unyielding, the blood glistening like liquid ruby in the lamplight before seeping into the road outside. Samuel, his hands shaking, photographed the stain, but the film later developed blank and empty frame where the blood had been. He wrote of a chill that gripped the soul and swore he heard a faint sigh. The same Agnes ghost was said to utter as the trickle faded with the first light of dawn. The cottage at Bloody Corner has stood through storms and centuries, its walls patched but unbowed, its door now painted a defiant red by the latest tenant, a potter named Eliza Taverner, who claims the blood is a sad reminder, not a curse. Yet every December 10th, at midnight, the trickle returns. Its crimson thread, a silent testament to Agnes Harrowell's murder, flowing from beneath the door to stain the road below before vanishing into the earth. Villagers avoid Bloody Corner on that night, their lanterns dim as they skirt the lane, and children whisper of a woman in grey glimpsed near the cottage, hands green with herbs, her sigh a mournful echo on the wind. In Drewsteignton, where the moor keeps its secrets close, the haunted cottage endures, its blood a mark that time cannot erase, a wound that opens anew each year to mourn a life cut short. Many thanks for treading this tale's dark path. If its chill gripped you, like, follow, subscribe, and comment below.